Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today. And I want to ask you to change your name with and include your language preference. You can select your language preference as well. Welcome to our meeting. We're offering interpretation, so we want to make sure that we choose English or Spanish. So you have to choose one so that we can hear the workshop today. Also, please keep in mind that we're going to be recording this session. So here are the instructions on how to select your language preference. So I'm going to pass it on to Julio so he can do the welcome. Hi, good evening to each and every one of you again. Thanks for being here with us. It's an honor to have each and every one of you in this space. I want to give you a cordial welcome. We're very excited. This is our second day of this great project, which is the Leadership Circle. So thank you. And I'm going to go over a little bit what objective for this meeting is today. And it's about trauma and why it's important. So we're going to have some tools for resilience, how to manage stress and how to support our community. So as I said, it's going to be a very important topic where we're going to ask that you share and raise your voice and share strategies about what's worked with you and your community and how we can, in this group, improve it. So today we're going to learn strategies, resiliency strategies, and how to make those positive experiences from infancy, how to mitigate trauma and toxic stress. So it's something that unfortunately we've been going through due to the pandemic, especially the community now in Pájaro, which is going through very difficult times right now. So this is a space where we can talk about the protection factors on how to deal with stress, how to be friendlier, and how to if you can share your experiences. We're also going to be exploring how trauma, how we can deal with it better as a community. This space is also to connect with other leaders in our community. So other parents from different districts, they're here with us today. And so thank you. As I've said, we are here. What we're asking is if you can say your name, what district you belong to, what your role is in the space. And also, one question that we have for you is, what's one thing that made you laugh today? So these are the things that, if you can put this in the chat, your name, your role, whether it's a parent, whether it's a community member, and what your affiliation is, what your organization group is, what district you belong to, or who you are representing today in this space. So the question today is, what's one thing that made you smile today? So as we've mentioned before, we're going to be recording this session. For those people who weren't able to join us today, and in case you might need it after this to review it, you can ask us for it, and that's the reason why we're recording the conversation today. So thank you, and I think I'm going to pass it on. I'm going to pass it back to Rocio. Yeah, if we can go into the next page. So in today's agenda, we're going to do the welcome. We're going to do the icebreaker. We're going to be presenting. There's going to be a breakout activity in small groups. And then we're going to continue the presentation, and we're going to close with the evaluation and closing, and then what's coming in the next weeks for each group. So today's goals are if you can share strategies and tools to build resiliency, manage stress, as Julio said, to help the community and everyone else as healers and defenders. So we're going to move on to the brave space agreements. So if we can remember that we each have something to give and to receive from others. So keep yourself committed, listen attentively with curiosity and respect. Be brave and share your personal experiences. Practice a growth mindset and share what you learned, but not what was said. Share what you learned, but not. So we're going to continue on to the next space. And this part, these could be some difficult topics that we're going to be talking about today as we talk more about adversity and trauma. If you could please remember that we're talking about some things that are personal stories. So you feel uncomfortable at any time and you want to leave the workshop, you can do so. And there's no judgment here. So if the topics or discussion cause you stress or suffering, right here we have Sofia Renteria's phone number, and she can help us as soon as possible. So then we can go on to the next page. And Diana is going to help us with the icebreaker today. Go ahead, Diana. Thank you, Rocio. So first of all, I want to practice with you a little meditation. It's just to feel more comfortable, for you to feel in a good environment. And then we can begin our evaluation. So I would like it if you could please stand up comfortably, sitting straight up. So sit up and place your foot planted on the ground. This is so you can feel more comfortable. And so we can begin with step number 1 of 4. So if you can inhale, counting to 4 slowly. So feel the air going into your lungs. Hold your breath for 4 seconds. Try to avoid inhaling or exhaling for 4 seconds. So exhale slowly through your mouth. If you want to make a noise, that's fine. A sound for 4 seconds and repeat. So once again, we inhale, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale. And then we can hear that our lungs are full of air. And if we need to, once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, relax. And once again, 1, 2, 3, 4. We relax. So I hope you feel better. Thank you for helping us with this exercise and welcome. I'm going to do the icebreaker today. And first of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Diana Valadez. I'm a coordinator of community health workers, and I'm here to help today. So we would like to ask you to think about a tool or strategy for resiliency that you learned from somebody who cared for you. So our question for you today is, what is one healthy thing you learned to do to take care of yourself during very stressful or challenging times? What is one healthy thing you learned to do to take care of yourself during very stressful or challenging times? When do you do it and how do you feel? Since our time is very short, if you can raise your hand, 2 or 3 people, and then the rest of you, we invite you to write your answer in the chat. This is just to respect everyone's time. So I can say that I learned to not keep things to myself and ask for help or talk about it when I know that someone can help me in that moment. For example, if I'm very stressed out about an issue or a problem, that I can share with somebody else and that person can refer me to resources, then I know in that moment that I'm not alone and that someone can help me, and that I'm not always with the stress for myself, but somebody else is bringing me their support and the resources that exist in the community can help me. And this makes me feel calm and heard at the same time. And that's one of the factors that's very important when we feel that we're drowning for any situation. Sometimes there are situations, very simple situations, but we see them as very big. But then once we talk them out with help from other people, then our load becomes lighter, and this helps me be calm and heard. So I would like if 2 or 3 people would like to share your answer about the question and icebreaker, and everyone else, if you can just write it in the chat. So you can open up your chat, your microphone. I can share. I think what's helped me is to do yoga and meditation. What we did today, what do you call it? Like inhaling and exhaling. So that has helped me a lot to de-stress, or when I'm very nervous about something, or when I'm sad. That helps me, just have 5 or 6 minutes just to myself, to have mental peace. That has helped me a lot. Anybody else? Good afternoon, good evening. I work for the clinic, the county clinic in Emily. So something that happened when there was a family tragedy, and my kids were very small. And what helped me a lot was dedicating time to family meetings, going on walks, going to eat something that they like to do, or something that my husband liked to do. Um, Unfortunately, he died from one day to the next in an accident. But now those strategies, I use them when someone's going through a similar situation as the one that I went through. And I notice a difference in a lot of people with the simple uh, act of listening and allowing them to dialogue and not letting them keep those things to themselves, because it's something that's very difficult. I didn't want to talk about it because I felt that I wasn't going to be heard. I thought I was going to be judged, or that they were going to say, "Oh, it was just an accident," or whatnot. But that's what helped me to be able to dialogue about it and share time with our loved ones. Yeah, that's very important. As I mentioned in my example, it's super important not to keep things to ourselves, but rather share them with others. So we have time for one more person. I think Norma has her hand up. When I was interned, when I got sick, I learned a lot of techniques like breathing and thinking positive thoughts, like saying, "I'm not gonna give up." Um, I had to imagine a goal. Saying to myself, "I'm gonna get through this little by little." That helped. That helped me. Uh, Mental health groups. And I'm going to call Nami because I want to know someone who has gone through depression. Thank you, Norma. Thank you for sharing your stories here, because a lot of times I've said it, it's not easy to open up our hearts and share our stories, but it's important to do so. So thank you, and I hope that the rest of you can share in the chat. Thank you. So we want to go on to the next slide. So as human beings, We are beings that are profoundly social. We depend on one another to transmit our knowledge and our cultural practices that help us to learn, to adapt, to heal, and to find our pathway through adversities. So these are gifts that are given from generation to generation. And from generation to generation, um, grandparents, uncles, parents, and it's good to remember parts of our lives when we're young because that's part of our strength. So I want to share with you an experience that I know a lot of you have had as well. But my experience could be that when I was sick, my mom traveled from Mexico here, and she helped me a lot during this time. She helped me with my medicine. She helped me with my kids. She would take care of all of us, and she would give us a lot of love, which is the most important part. And this would ameliorate the pain that I was feeling at that time because I would not have been able to do that without my mom. So even we're growing and we're adults and we have our own families, I think the love from someone else who shows it to you at 100% is the most important part. That would make my pain, what I was feeling, to be less. And it would help me feel a lot better. And it would help me remember when I was young. And part of that is that, when you get sick from a cold, from a flu, moms are always there to help us. During that time, I was a little girl, so I didn't know my mom's role or anything like that. But now that I'm experimenting it, it's beautiful to see that there's someone who loves you and who's there for us. So I would love, um, in this part, to share, for you to share something about your childhood that has made you strong, has given you strength during this time. So I would like to get 2 or 3 experiences to hear them, and then the rest of them we can write them down in the chat. So if you can open up your microphone and share a story. Go ahead. One of the things that made me strong when I was little is that my mom died when I was 6 years old, and my dad helped us to um, succeed. Yeah, so it's important to take all of those roles and to know that there's somebody there who loves us. Um, Without regard of the situation that we're going through, it's beautiful to feel it in the moment, and then in the future, remembering those things, which is when you value it the most. So thank you for sharing. Anybody else would like to share? Yeah, you just have to unmute yourself and go ahead and speak. Nobody else? My mom, because my mom, I remember when I was 5 or 6 years old, she was sick. She was always sick, and she would always get sick since she was young. And due through everything that's happened, when something happens to me, I think if she was able to do it, then I have to be able to do it because she would tell us that we have to be strong in the face of adversity. And yes, that's true. As we don't know what a mom feels until you are a mother. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. One more person, if you would like to share. I think what has helped me, and I think the biggest thing that's happened to me with my youngest daughter is to see how happy she is, how she dances, jumps, but even after everything that she's gone through. And I think if she has gone through so much, then why can't I, be the same way? And why not be well for them? Thank you. Yeah, thanks everyone for sharing your experiences. And I repeat, if anybody else um, If you feel more comfortable sharing in the chat, you can do so as well. So we're here to listen to you and to understand one another. So go ahead, Rocio. Thank you, Diana. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next page in the presentation. So we can go on to the next one. So the pair of ACEs, these are adverse childhood experiences, mental illness, incarceration, lack of housing, homelessness, substance abuse, domestic violence, and then there's also the community factors like poverty, discrimination, lack of opportunity, mobility, social mobility and capital, poor housing quality, violence. And so we're going to pass on to see a video where we see that pair of ACEs can affect us in the long term in our health, as well as our emotional state, but we can make changes in our community. So we're going to put it on right now. It's a 6-minute video. So if we can start it. So we're going to do the English version in the chat. And then if somebody could do the English version in the chat as well, because this version is in English. So the story about brain development in infancy has had a powerful influence in the investment of programs that promote childhood education and prepare kids for school. But the brain doesn't live by itself. Connecting the brain with the rest of the body is of vital importance. So the experiences in the first years impact the mental and body's health and the possibilities of being successful in school. So all of the biological systems, all of them are very interconnected, and all of these systems prepare to adapt to what is coming. So think about it. If it's a team of athletes, they're very capable. Each one of them has an important role, but they all depend from one another. So they influence in the responses of one another. So like any good team, the form that they operate is the key to their success. When we're stressed, all of the cells in the body work extra hours. The brain is the master control system that detects the threats and then creates a response to the rest of the systems. It sends signals to the cardiovascular system to increase the different systems, and then the rest is the metabolic systems to calculate the levels of sugar in the blood and create more energy reserves in the body. So the immunological system is alert in case there's need to protect itself from an infection. So the neuroendocrine system prepares to deal with the stress levels, and all of these send information to the brain. So the stress response systems was created to respond to crucial threats. But when stress is at a very high level, all of these response levels begin to decrease. So for this reason, stress is the cause for chronic illness. The science is very clear. Chronic illnesses have their roots in the early infancy. Cardiovascular illness, diabetes, depression. 3 of the many illnesses that deal with, so these 3 together consume more than $630 million in medical bills every year. So if we want to talk about preventing illnesses and promote health, don't start with doing more exercise, but don't start when you're 30 or 40 years old. Health promotion begins with the prenatal stage and extends to first infancy. Connecting the brain with the rest of the body has very important implications with public policy to improve infancy. The scientific principles focusing on education is increasing responsive relationships, strengthening the abilities essential for life, and reducing stress factors. These are the three that increase the probability of having good health for life. And when we think about the first levels of stress in early life, we talk about poverty, discrimination, violence, mistreatment, child abuse, negligence. Even though each one of those fountains of adversity has a biological effect in the body, it's the same. So systemic racism, prejudice, daily discrimination, they have stress, constant stress in families of color, raising kids. So it's never too late.